guys. In this tutorial I'll show you the basics of connecting Visual Basic to GSA and store data from GSA in Excel. We start with a small example 1, which covers beam on 2 supports, and what you only need is example 1. So this is a GSA file. If you open this, in GSA, you see you have a beam which is consists of 2 elements, and it is on 2 supports. So if you go to the restraint, you see it is restrained in the X and Z direction at node 1, and it's restrained in the Z direction at node 3. And all nodes are restrained in the Y direction because we are working in 2D. So if we now go to Visual Basic and we want to start a new project, so File, New Project. So we open a Windows form application. Okay. So if we open a Windows form application, we see the interface now. So if we look to the interface, we see it's empty. So now first we will create the interface. And for that we will create a button to open our GSA file. And first we need the open file dialog. So we drag this to here. We see it appears here. And the open file dialog, it enables you to open a file without explicitly typing in the exact location, but by browsing it. You'll see that later. Now first we'll create a text box, file to open. So here we open a text box, we create a text box. Do this. And if you now go to properties window, then you see the name of the text box. Name, text box, it's now text box 1. We'll make that text file to open. So enter. Now this box is called text file to open, and we can use that in our code. Now if we make a label, file to open, so it's just for clarity of your interface. If you double click, you see the code behind it. Go back, when you see label, see in our properties window, label 1 it's now, but we'll make but we will only change the name, the text. It's now label 1, but we'll make it a file to open. So now it says file to open in our interface. Okay, we'll make a browse button. So add a button, like this, bigger. Now, so here's our text again, so that's the text which appears on the button in the interface. So for text we choose browse file, and for the name it's button browse file. So you're not allowed to use any empty spaces in a name. So button browse file. Okay, so we have now the 3 important aspects of the first part of our interface. And if we now double click the browse file button, and we delete this code, it's of the label, you see the code appear this between private sub and end sub, it's what happens if you click the button browse file button. So here's click, so if you click it. So now we type, so you can type in following code. Wait a moment. I'll just paste it. So this is what. So this means that if it opens, you can search for your file, and then it the text file to open. That's the name of the text box. It gets the name of the open file which you just got, because here it's open file dialog, but you see later on what it exactly does. And now, wait a moment. We'll create in our interface, we go back to our interface, sorry. So back to our interface, we create a text box length. So if we, that will be the length of the beam. So we make a parametric beam. So here a user can type in any length he wants to analyze. So if you now change the name from textbox1 to text length, so now it's called text length, you add a label with length. And now to establish, this is the most important part, to establish the relation from Visual Basic to GSA, we have to add references to these. So if we now click Project, add reference, I must think, and we first open GSA, so GSA, so here you go to com GSA, okay. And we do that again for project, add reference for Microsoft Excel, go to Microsoft Excel 12, okay. We now go to the code by double click on our form, so we see here nothing has changed, but he now knows that we reference to GSA and Excel, so we can use them later on. And I'll paste some code here, which you can find in the written manual. So I'll paste it. And this code establishes the relation between Visual Basic and GSA and Excel. So this is, I'm not going to say anything about it, but you can just find it there. We'll focus at this tutorial at the further buttons and how you can use that connection. We'll add some button to the interface to analyze our GSA file. So if we want to add, we add a button. So make it again like this. We go to properties. We say text analyze and export results. So make it something bigger. And our name for the code is button